the heavy load without a Memphis Depay.
It is a pleasant evening in this part of the world, and both countries well represented in the crowd. It's a 40,000 capacity stadium. Senegal, the African champions, was quite the triumph over Egypt, and they also defeated Egypt to make it here to the World Cup finals, just about ready to go. And the Netherlands in their traditional colours. The referee hails from Brazil, Wilton Sampaio, from the state of Goiás in the centre of the country. And the final checks in place. Any second now, they will be underway, with the Netherlands attacking the goal to our right. This is the first ever meeting of Senegal and the Netherlands, and the first time they've ever appeared at the same World Cup. The Dutch were absent in 2002 and 2018, the two occasions when the Lions of Teranga have qualified previously. Quite the splash Senegal made back in 2002. The then captain was Aliou Cissé, now the coach. Shocked France right off the bat and made it all the way to the quarterfinals. They wouldn't mind a repeat of that run, Ali.
No, certainly not, but it's got to start tonight. And a good look already, just this mid-block setup that Senegal is going to likely confront Netherlands in. This Senegalese team was one of the top defenses in the Africa Cup of Nations in World Cup qualifying.
No trouble there for Matthijs de Ligt, and maybe possibilities for Boulaye Dia inside the area. Well, not exactly the beginning the Dutch had in mind.
No, but exactly what Senegal ordered up, and they just win the ball in the midfield block, and then it's a quick 1-2 here with Ismaila Sarr on his near side, and then the deflection comes in from the recovery of De Jong off of Boulaye Dia. But that's how quickly Senegal can strike.
We weren't sure whether or not Matthijs de Ligt would actually be starting this game. The Bayern defender, he's been preferred to Jurien Timber. And it's going to be Idrissa Gana Gueye, to give him his full name, to take the corner, responsible for most of the Senegalese set plays.
And they'll stack up. You'll see it here where they're going to try to lose their marks. Koulibaly is going to be one of those targets.
Let's see if Idrissa Gana Gueye can find one of the targets. Well, the answer quickly provided was away, but not all that convincingly by Steven Bergwijn for the Oranje. Fascinating confrontation in prospect here. Earlier, a thumping 6-2 win for England over Iran. That's in the USA's group. The USA taking on Wales a bit later. Let's see if Senegal can build on this left-hand side. Diatta. Well, we suspected he might begin the game on the right, but he is on the left for the time being. Crépin Diatta, who was out for 9 months after suffering a ruptured ACL, missed the Africa Cup of Nations. Frenkie de Jong, who always wants to get on the ball for the Netherlands. De Ligt will just have to try to airbrush that early moment that didn't go his way.
And we weren't sure coming into this match whether it was going to be him or Timber starting in that third center back spot. But Van Gaal opting for De Ligt, who is prone to errors, excuse me.
Once again, Frenkie de Jong. Here's Virgil van Dijk. Hard to believe it's his first major international tournament. Nathan Ake on the left-hand side of that back three. Nathan is how he pronounces it. You might be more accustomed to hearing Nathan.
I should have asked you that before kickoff. And just early on, Derek, I'm noticing Van Dijk and Dumfries having words. Van Dijk not happy with the movement of Dumfries.
Long ball by Virgil van Dijk. It almost worked out for the Netherlands. They had Steven Bergwijn and Vincent Janssen higher up the pitch. Surprise starter Janssen was the forgotten man of the Dutch attack, out of the reckoning for the best part of 5 years. They don't have Memphis Depay in the starting 11. He is on the bench. Not really sure that he's thought of as a contender for this game, though. Somebody who might be able to participate later, but we shall see. Early sparring stages. Great to have the pleasure of your company. De Ligt, as they keep it on the ground here, the Netherlands. And Gakpo selfish there. They were scrambling a bit defensively, Senegal. Well, the alarm bells were truly ringing. And maybe scope for the Senegalese counter-attack, and the outcome will be a free kick. It's gone in favour of Cheikhou Kouyaté.
And it's just really well scripted play from Netherlands, but here's the challenge that the referee calls. As Kouyaté was bringing the ball out, it's just a quick 1-2, and Cody Gakpo's so smart and intelligent in his positioning and recognizing the space. Slides that one across for Bergwijn. He's on the full stretch, and the timing's just off that he can't get his boot to it.
A very exciting player, Cody Gakpo of PSV, the Eredivisie. Part of the team that recently defeated Ajax by 2-1. Here's Bergwijn, change of direction. He's looking to make the connection with Janssen. And the turn of Dia. Boulaye Dia of Salernitana in Serie A. Having to reconfigure, understandably, without Sadio Mane. And we don't want to be going on and on and on about Sadio Mane. I think what's more important, Ali, is to talk about how they devise a plan in his absence, how they cover up for the fact that he's not here.
And of all the questions at the press conference yesterday, that was not one of them.
No.
That is really the question. I think it's a collective answer for the Senegalese team. And in particular, I think Diatta on that right-hand side, if he gets on it quickly, is one of those players that can help progress this team forward into that next attacking phase. That's what Mane did so well beyond his goal production.
Ake trying to get back in a hurry. Kouyaté there for Senegal. So they try to pass it around. Looking for gaps in the Dutch defence. Youssouf Sabaly operating at right back. Plays in La Liga for Betis of Seville. Palis Mendy been on the outside looking in at Leicester City. Apparently not fancied by Brendan Rodgers, and De Ligt with a lunge there going in on Ismail Assar. Not the most comfortable of beginnings for Matthijs De Ligt.
No, spot on, and Sarr just shifts that around the challenge of De Ligt. Really intelligent play from him, but early on, Derek, I was having questions around how aggressive the fullbacks would be from Aliou Cissé and the Senegalese team, and their ability to advance in those wide areas. They've been aggressive in their positioning. They are taking risk. Netherlands was only keeping too high, and they're sending both outside backs at the same time.
Palis Mendy made as if to take it. He stands aside for Idrissa Gana Gueye. To Diallo. Some of the best of crosses. Kouyaté. Look to work something here. Senegal. Kouyaté out there in the wide position. Wasn't a bad idea. And to float that one over. And they had up inside the box. Defender Abou Cissé looking to cause a bit of havoc. Intriguing start here, Ali.
Absolutely so. I mean, the balance of play has been equal. It's a good ball into the back post. That's one area that you can test this Netherlands side on. Just try to find that weak spot at the back post, and Papsi can't connect with that one. But I would start testing Noppert early and often if I'm the Senegalese team.
Yeah, we've got to talk about Andries Noppert. It is between the posts. His international debut comes here in the first match of the World Cup for the Oranje. Plays for Heerenveen in the Eredivisie, currently 8th. And on the subject of goalkeepers, they brought in a fellow by the name of Peter Murphy, who has a volleyball coaching background. And well, the idea was to find the best penalty killer, in the words of Louis van Gaal, the bondscoach, a name given to the national coach of the Netherlands. It's all a little bit left field sounding, but there's a method behind it, though not a settled situation with regard to the goalkeeping position for the Oranje. Here's Daley Blind. Ake. Oh, a bit of a risk about it, as it was steered over there by Steven Berghuis. And they didn't get away with it, did they, the Netherlands? And the shot does come in here. Well, that wasn't all that far away. Ismail Assar.
No, but it's a turnover in an advanced area and really good movement just to be able to pick that up as the ball stayed close to him, and Assar is leaning away from that one. It rises above. But to your point, Derek, I mean, early glimpses of Noppert's comfort on the ball. Yes, Netherlands almost paid.
The Netherlands trying to stretch Senegal. The run was made by Vincent Janssen. I mentioned earlier, heard the report from our Rodolfo Landeros down there, by the side of the pitch, talking about Vincent Janssen, the fact that he got married in Santa Barbara, California. Wasn't really expecting to get the recall by the Netherlands. Here's Denzel Dumfries, and no threat there for Edouard Mendy. Safe pair of hands. Something that he has been working on, Dumfries. It used to be considered the real weakness of his game. Crossing. Now is Louis van Gaal, the maestro. 71, he has been battling prostate cancer. Back for a third spell at the helm of the Netherlands.
And he feels good about this squad. I mean, you go back to 2014, and he said that was a group that was interested in implementing his ideas. And he feels the same way about this team, except he thinks he has more talent on his hands. And that they can go the distance with a little luck on their side. I heard the studio talking about it. Both Kelly and Lex believe there's real quality in this group to go the distance. Certainly agree with that.
I think he's going to be okay. Pape Abou Cissé of the Greek club Olympiakos. Playing in central defence beside Kalidou Koulibaly. Notice that Abdou Diallo is at left back. That has been widely thought of as the problematic position for Senegal. Many expected Fodé Ballo-Touré to play from the outset in this first match here at the World Cup for the Lions of Teranga, and are coming together there. Play is going to rage on for now. Bailey Blint with the pass. Dumfries and Ismail Assar were the two players who went down simultaneously. He's back on his feet now. Ismail Assar, Ali.
Now here's a look at the collision, and you can see it from up here. That makes it look less innocuous than it really was in real speed. Tough challenge right at the knee level of Ismail Assar.
So Dumfries to take it. Gakpo was able to make a bit of hay earlier in this game. Let's try to supply the telling ball for Steven Bergwijn. Didn't quite come off for the Netherlands. It's been an open beginning. Paris Mendy, there's Virgil van Dijk, was great friends with Sadio Mane, and bitterly disappointed that his pal isn't here at the World Cup. Diatta, that little spin and turn, so he is on the right now. Diatta was at the press conference yesterday. I asked him what it means to him to be back in the fold, to be here at the World Cup after the injury nightmare. He said everything.
It's every player's dream. There's a good look at the recovery of De Jong. That's what he does so well. Read the play, fill in the gaps.
Problems here for the Dutch, and it's Paris Mendy. And the effective block by Virgil van Dijk. The offside flag has gone up. It grinds to a halt for Senegal.
And you can see Ake's dropping off, and then he steps when he realizes that release is coming, and clear as day, players offside. We don't need the technology to tell us that answer.
Frenkie de Jong. I must say, I felt a bit sorry for him during the summer. It appeared that his club Barcelona just wanted rid of him. They wanted him off the wage bill. Having to backpedal. Based on what we've seen so far, this is going to be an examination for the Netherlands. Because that ball had gone out of play. Yep, that is indeed the verdict. Sabali talking about run towards the byline. Just a quick reminder, it's the USA against Wales. Opening match for both countries coming up later on Fox. Our coverage from 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. An early statement from England already in that group.
USA's got time to make theirs. Jet into that game after this one.
Yes, I believe.
That's the beauty of the close proximity of these matches.
You can tell, Ali, that you're the optimist amongst the two of us and I'm the pessimist.
That's rarely been said about myself, so I'll take it.
I know you'll make it. I have every confidence. Not all that far away. Daley Blind, always a key player for Louis van Gaal. He's been at loggerheads with his club coach at Ajax, Alfred Schreuder.
And just not secure in possession right now. Netherlands are. Janssen late to that one. Good body positioning by Nampalys Mende, and just holds off the challenge of Janssen. Draws the foul. Janssen. I mean, from this Dutch side, where they're holding possession is in this middle third, and Senegal will be completely content with that. They're not able to progress and get positional dominance in that final third right now in any meaningful manner. It's been good pressure from Senegal.
Oh, Diallo playing his way into trouble and out of position. And here's Cody Gakpo for the Netherlands. Dumfries pulling it back, and all hands on deck for Senegal after the error in judgment by Diallo.
And Diallo typically plays in that center-back position for Senegal. We've seen him on that left-back role for PSG before, but perhaps unfamiliar territory as of late.
The Dutch have actually missed 4 of the last 10 World Cups. For those of us of a certain age who grew up in the 1970s, of course, runners-up 1974, 1978, 2 fabulous teams. The total football era. Bergwijn and De Jong, who's always pass happy. Blind over there on the left, just a bit beyond Dumfries.
But that's more like it.
Now Gakpo, and a good idea. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't all that far away with Daley Blind inside the box.
It really wasn't. He first started this action on this near side. Change of point, comes over to Gakpo, and then Blind rises up. Good timing on that, but just the wrong direction. It looks like it banks off of his shoulder, in fact. That one, you got to nod it back where it came from. Give yourself more of a chance. And credit to the fullback, just throwing him off enough.
He ever scored twice at international level. Daley Blind, 94 previous matches. Referee from Brazil, Wilton Sampaio, his first World Cup game. Senegal know how to keep the ball. Most would have reckoned that the Netherlands would have the advantage on that front. Sabali, oft injured, it must be said. Missed the Africa Cup of Nations. There's a nice way about him, a pleasant gait. Nampalys Mendy, who's the anchor man in midfield. Diatta on the right flank. And that is going to be a corner. Idrissa Gana Gueye, who was optimistic on that occasion.
And just good work on that far flank between Diatta, and you see Gana Gueye just accelerating out of midfield. He's the one that gets on the end of that, keeps that in play, earns his side a corner kick.
97th international appearance. He's closing in on the all-time record for Senegal in terms of caps, held by Henri Camara, 99. There's Idrissa Gana Gueye, and they almost got in the way of each other there. For Senegal, Koulibaly was one of the players up from the back.
Gakpo's coming.
The pass by Bergwijn, and it could be alive very much here for Frenkie de Jong, trying to spin and turn, and they couldn't quite keep the composure. Gakpo was arriving on the scene, but tidied up in the end by Kouyaté. Well, from one end to the other, following on from the set play, hasn't been dull so far. But no scoring between Senegal and the Netherlands. Janssen taking aim. It's going to be a free kick against Ake.
And this is how quickly Netherlands can break. It's an excellent ball from Bergwijn. He just flits that in with the outside of his foot. The surging run from Burgess. You can see Netherlands, they're coming in numbers, and De Jong just can't get this one slid across to Gakpo in any meaningful way. It allows the recovery of Senegal to get back, where Gakpo can't get there first. That's a thing. Even though Senegal right now going toe for toe in terms of possession, this Netherlands side incredibly dangerous in the transition.
Just got to check the ball here. Ramon Pablano. It's being fastidious.
Can't blame the ball.
Nope. As they go from back to front. On that occasion, Abu Cisse. Denzel Dumfries, who likes to hug the right-hand touchline. Used to be with PSV, these days with Inter in Serie A. In his younger days, he represented Aruba at international level. Qualified for them through his dad, Boris. Then thought better of that idea. Abu Cisse, here's Abdou Diallo. On loan at Leipzig from PSG. We do have an option to buy. It's doing pretty well in his time in Sachsen, in eastern Germany. Frenkie de Jong, and Kouyaté didn't really want to get close to him. Releasing the ball, Frenkie de Jong. So much goes through him. Now, De Ligt. And he was most certainly caught by Ismail Assar, in the opinion of the referee. Ali?
And what's so incredible about this play is De Jong's ability to accelerate play through midfield. He's the one that picks it up and gets them into this attacking third. Then De Ligt joins in. And Ismail Assar has been good at doubling down this time. Just a little clip up in a really dangerous area for Netherlands to feast on.
The two players surveying the scene are Cody Gakpo and Steven Berghuis. Edouard Mendy, who hasn't been the first choice at Chelsea recently, behind Kepa in the pecking order. Berghuis, who's naturally left-footed, will likely fancy this.
And Van Dijk just sitting behind his player that's looking to mark him. He's going to get himself back on side. But it just makes him more challenging for the opposition to know exactly where he is. He's one of the targets on this.
We shouldn't rule out Gakpo, but he does run over it. In by Berghuis. Just couldn't find one of his teammates.
I think you got to go out swinger on that one. They opt for the in swinger.
Last night in the opening match of the tournament, a 2-0 win for Ecuador against the host nation, Qatar. Well, Ecuador have been praised. Qatar really didn't look ready, I must say, for a World Cup. And I know there are those who believe Ecuador needed to score more against Qatar. Might well come down to goal difference. We shall see about that. Certainly one view.
No doubt. I mean, Ecuador certainly had more chances. And you just feel for teams and players that get overwhelmed by the moment. You want to see the best. Aliou Cisse wants to see that out of his group. And the reality is, you know, Qatar suffered on the night. And it started off with your goalkeeper being shaky. And questions were, do you sub that goalkeeper right away? Do you keep him in? I mean, it sends a big message to your team. If you pull him out of the game, it means you are rattled. Even though you know it, it's a clear statement that the coach agrees.
Well, they come away with the ball finally, the Netherlands. Berghuis. Final plays for Ajax.
A good defending by Diallo.
He's a tenacious competitor. Abdou Diallo wasn't playing at PSG. Really needed that move, needed to get game time. His first port of call in Germany either. Currently with Leipzig. He was earlier in his career at Dortmund. And that's going to be meat and drink to Edouard Mendy.
And Gakpo thought better of it. He was lining that one up, getting big eyes, and realized that was going to be in the area for Mendy to claim.
Ismail Assar bundled to the ground by Matthijs de Ligt.
And that's smart from de Ligt. Even though you give away the penalty or the foul, the reality is you don't want Ismail Assar getting faced up and turning and running at your back line. You want to get tight to him early.
Diatta trying to get involved as much as possible on the right-hand side for the Lions of Teranga. Instant control there by Ismail Assar of Watford in the Championship in England, and he has a go, and it could have gone anywhere. And the big deflection, it means a corner here.
And that's exactly it. I mean, as soon as he gets turned and faced up, he just eliminates the defender with a little shift of the hips, and that one was going to find the back post. Van Dijk all over it, deflects that one out.
It's commanding defending by Virgil van Dijk for the Netherlands. The Lions of Teranga. If you're wondering about Teranga, it's really a concept of special hospitality. It's important to everyone in Senegal. Very unlucky to miss out on a place in the knockout stages. In Russia at the last World Cup, they missed out because of the fair play rule. Number of cautions. Japan pipping them at the post.
Excellent moment there from De Jong. First steps up, wins the challenge, and then settles his team by just releasing pressure and finding Dumfries in this wide channel. And he talked about the importance, or lack thereof, at Barcelona for De Jong. Well, the reality is the Netherlands needs him.
And he's on the move here, Frenkie de Jong. Here's Denzel Dumfries. To fire that one towards the penalty area, and it comes off Diallo, and the corner here for the Oranje. Ake coming up from the back. Van Dijk striding forward as we speak as well. It's going to be Cody Gakpo.
And we've seen this where they start their runs a bit higher in the area, and this is going to be an outswinger more towards that penalty spot.
Taken by Gakpo, and Van Dijk was in there. Well, they've combined before for the Netherlands in that fashion.
Yeah, the last goal for Van Dijk, in fact, was off of a set piece, off of a corner kick, but that one, he gets his body angle all wrong. You've got to take the turn on it, but he just hits it right back where it came from. He knows it. That was a good look.
Don't forget, we start with 4 matches a day tomorrow, kicking off with Argentina against Saudi Arabia. That'll be followed by Denmark, Tunisia, Mexico, Poland, France, Australia. Coverage from 4 a.m. Eastern. Early start, 1 a.m. Pacific on FS1 and Fox. Get your alarm clocks set now. It's going to take a bit of getting used to. They've 4 games in a day.
Some of my best memories as a kid were setting my alarm clock and waking up in the middle of the night to watch a World Cup match.
I've always felt a bit sorry for you guys in the United States having to do that. In Europe, we didn't really very often have to think in those terms. It's all part of the pageantry, I suppose. Now, Kouyaté, Cheikhou Kouyaté, was such an experienced campaigner, central midfield player. With Nottingham Forest, spent a big chunk of his career in English football. Going after it here, Sabali, covering up the ubiquitous Frenkie de Jong.
And it doesn't come off, but this is a good look at how Senegal wants to attack. Oof.
Oops, and de Jong looking for Van Dijk. He wasn't paying attention. Will there be trouble here? It's Idrissa Gana Gueye. Second bite at the cherry. That was casual, to say the least, from the Netherlands. Matthijs Mendy, you've got to be wired in against Senegal, against the African champions. That much is clear. Kepa Diatta got it all wrong, however, but nearly a calamitous moment for the Dutch.
I mean, unthinkable, to be fair. There's a strike from Diatta off of the ensuing play, off the turnover that came from this man. Frankie de Jong just slides that one at the top of the 18. I mean, unwise decision. Van Dijk not aware, but then he has to make that play to make amends.
Matthijs de Ligt was with Juventus before that big money move to Germany's record champions Bayern. Really wanted to go there. It was always on his mind. And he has acquitted himself well, playing mostly in a back four, as opposed to the back three setup favoured by Louis van Gaal. Remember, it was a back three when they made it all the way to third place in 2014 at the World Cup finals in Brazil. This is second spell in charge. Louis van Gaal, the bondscoach. Ake. Sarah Daly Blind. On the left is father Danny, part of the coaching staff. Bergwijn has just drifted out of the game a bit in the last few minutes. And a chase for Dumfries. A fruitless one, Ali.
Yeah, no doubt. And with Bergwijn finally getting on the ball, it was because of the movement from Cody Gakpo out of midfield. He dragged two defenders out of the space that Bergwijn was able to just post up the 1v1, but you're used to seeing Netherlands get more numbers forward and really overload that back line. Right now, they're just not holding possession long enough in this attacking third to be able to progress into those moments.
Vincent Janssen was tussling there with Abu Cisse.
And it's almost the same spot as they had in their last attacking free kick in this final third. Here's the battle. Vincent Janssen, one of the hardest working players you'll see in the front line, goes to ground maybe easily there, with Pape Cisse just being more athletic. Nonetheless, the Dutch get the call, and perhaps this time they're going to go for an outswinger.
Let's see, you weren't too happy about the last one, were you?
I just think the right shape of this ball is just to outswing it to any of those runners flying across it. On the inswinger, just more challenging because you've got to have the angle exactly right. This could hit any number of players.
So Bergwijn and Gakpo again. This time it was Steven Bergwijn who took it. Let's see if they change the thinking.
Maybe it's a challenge Mendy a bit more if they go in swinging.
Gakpo is a picture of concentration. One of the players in there. The pause. Now it is going to be left to Gakpo. And I wasn't quite sure Mendy. Wasn't the perfect delivery though.
No, too much air under it.
Diatta, that was a deft little flick. Kuyate. Didn't play that quick, slick pass forward, however.
Oh, you had Konagay on a surging run. All Bouladia had to do was just lay that into space anywhere, and Konagay would have gotten there.
Diallo for Senegal. First half that has flown by, no scoring, but it might be goalless. It has not been eventless.
Certainly not. Much better performance from both these teams than we saw the last night in the opening match. Van Gaal taking notes.
Diallo with the throw. Oh, the Lions of Teranga. It's one of the great nicknames in international football, isn't it?
I'm going to name my house that. Teranga.
Sabali optimistic from there. Never likely to trouble Noppert.
No, I mean, a lot of distance on this just to really challenge any goalkeeper, let alone someone getting their first start.
Did you have in mind, Ali, at the start, after the draw was made, that Senegal would be the most formidable challengers to the Netherlands in this group?
Absolutely. And just imagine if Mane was on this team as well. Unfortunate that he can't be here, but Van Gaal said it yesterday in the presser that he knew this was going to be more than likely the most difficult opponent of the group, and we know how important it is. It's stated time and time again to get that first result in your opening match.
They're certainly not a one-man side. They're a well-balanced team from top to bottom. Just missing that stardust that you get from Sadio Mane, but there are other ways to win matches. Diallo, who had ventured forward, was catching Dumfries.
Yeah, I mean, they're just incredibly organized and disciplined defensively, and then you're going to get these areas where they're send their fullbacks forward. Diallo on this near side goes to ground, then trips up Dumfries' release, but they want to use these wide channels and quick combination plays, little 3v3s, and they think they can win those battles. And we've seen them do it a ton. And the reality is, Derek, I mean, this Senegalese team earns penalty kicks, and that can be one way that they can get a positive result tonight.
Failing Blint for that speculative ball. Going after it was Bergwijn. Well, in the end by Kalidou Koulibaly, very accomplished central defender. Chelsea now was with Napoli for 8 years and led by example there. Bergwijn. Blint with that deep ball sent in. Dumfries tried to win his aerial joust. It might still be alive here. Gakpo couldn't quite find it. Berghuis towards Blint. Frenkie de Jong. And it was just head flicked wide in the end. Could have gone anywhere. It was Abu Cisse inside the box.
And de Jong had a couple of options. He opts to go far post with this, but if he would have looked at that near post slip, he could have played that one potentially on the ground. Janssen just trying to flick that one into a dangerous area. Comes off the top of Pape Cisse.
So another Gakpo corner. Van Dijk waits for the delivery. Second crack of the whip here for Cody Gakpo. Cisse got it away, smuggled it away. Not the outcome here, a throw for the Netherlands. This first half ebbing away.
It's a small thing, but did you see how quickly Gakpo released that ball? Just a really short motion, able to clip that one in.
Daley Blint. That's not going to help the Dutch cause. No problems for Edouard Mendy in goal for Senegal. Memphis Depay, as we mentioned, is on the bench. Listening to Louis van Gaal yesterday, didn't sound as though realistically he could make an appearance in this match, but we shall see. Doing a bit of limbering up, Ali.
Yeah, it just sounded as though he was working his way back into full fitness, and take that as it will be.
Landing in the air there, it looked like Ake, but the referee takes exception to his intervention. That's a moderate scolding.
Just climbs up the back of Diatta, little shove in the backside, throws off his timing. Right call.
Diatta showing for it, has it again.
And here you go, just a little 3v3, change of point coming.
Lots of risk about that as Dumfries went up for the header. Diallo had again stepped forward. They have got into problems on a couple of occasions when that has occurred. Senegal. We should remind you that it's the return of World Cup tonight. All the day's highlights, special guests and World Cup fun with our own Kate Abdo, Mo Edu, and America's World Cup fan, Chad Ochocinco. Gets to go to the matches, including tonight's USA versus Wales game, to give us the fan experience. Tonight at midnight on Fox.
We should just start calling Chad Ochocinco Cristiano Ronaldo fan.
What about sums it on? I mean, yeah. I was going to say Ali Wagner England fan, but maybe not in this group. The USA.
Fair enough. I found my secret.
It was De Ligt going in there on Ismail Assar. Had Kelly Smith on the studio talking about him as a Watford season ticket holder. 6 and 14 matches for the Hornets this season. Ismail Assar. Balis Mendy. At times they really have been able to go toe-to-toe, play at eye level with the Netherlands of Senegal. Short passes there with Diatta involved, and likewise Idrissa Gueye. But now the Dutch swarming forward. Frenkie de Jong looking around him. Really Blind off to the left, but he goes the other way, and it's now with Denzel Dumfries. Didn't get on the ground, and the crisp shot here by Steven Berghuis. He had eyes for goal.
And that's what Janssen can offer you. Just quick link-up play, back to goal, lays that off. And a good look for Berghuis. Traffic in front of him. If he can keep that lower, that will test Mendy. On the half volley, that one is sweet spot. Usually you can keep that one under the bar. If you connect right, then he knows it.
Okay, Tanto and the studio crew standing by. Looking a bit exposed here, the Netherlands. Ismail Assar. Dia waiting in the middle. And fed right across, it's Ake. High into the night sky, evening here in Doha. And that was crewed by Matthijs de Ligt. He's then bundled to the ground, but the whistle had already gone for the infringement by de Ligt.
And de Ligt's had enough. He's seen enough because Ismail Assar has caused some problems on this near side. Just manhandles him to the ground. Ismail Assar, the one that just released this quick little ball here. We talked about on the other side, it was Gakpo. Look at that ball in behind the back line of Ismail Assar. Really good vision and idea to just try to connect, or at least forced a bad decision out of the back line, but Ake gets it right.
Idrissa Gueye to take it. Back for another spell at Everton. Twice a champion in France with PSG.
And with Kouyaté in the starting lineup, you've got another tall body in there to target, along with Koulibaly. Diallo's free at the back post.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ali. Can't take your eyes off Kouyaté in these situations. And the Brazilian referee just wanted a quiet word. Van Dijk at the ready for the Dutch, ready to defend, and that's a very poor free kick by Idrissa Gueye.
A couple times now they failed to beat that first defender.
Trying to switch the play there. Sabali. Cisse, very demonstrative, very highly respected, as he was as a player, as a captain. It's interesting that all the African coaches, all the coaches of African countries at this World Cup, from their respective nations. It used to be commonplace for them to find coaches from overseas to hire on a short-term basis, sort of chopping, changing.
Twisted Tea is a refreshing hard iced tea made with real blue tea. Keep it twisted.
I also feel that he doesn't suit this setup so well with the back three, and quite an aggressive back three.
And with Timbers in there, usually you'll see him progress with the ball at his feet and really beat that first line and create that domino effect to open up space in midfield, or at least in more advanced positions. You're just not getting that on the ball in possession.
One more reminder, USA, Wales, opening World Cup match for both countries later on Fox, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Counting down to that game. John Strong and Stu Holden will be your commentary team. And the importance of winning your first match, well, it's not lost on anyone, is it?
No. And especially with that USA team that just hasn't looked sharp, and they haven't looked like they've been in sync or dangerous in the lead up to this World Cup. They need a good moment, the same way England received that today. US needs to have theirs.
He scrambled for the ball there. That ball tried to come away with it. Here's Ake. All the way back to Noppert. The conventional feeling was that he'd been named as the third choice keeper. The uncapped goalkeeper, but not so. Long ball there by Virgil van Dijk, and that didn't go to plan at all for Senegal. Sabali would try to head it back, and not easy for Mendy.
No, I mean, right idea, just wrong execution. In full stride, Sabali trying to nod that one down. And look, the Dutch are incredibly potent on set pieces. You just can't afford to give these looks to them, especially as you head into half and you're tied up 0-0. This could swing things.
The referee just wants to intervene, sort a couple of things out. Other words with Johnson. Can do with this one. It's floated in. Dijk was close to it, couldn't get the touch on the ball, however. Berghuis getting the ball onto his left foot. The counter-attack here for Senegal, led by Crépin Diatta. Dia wanted it played to him, that was the idea, couldn't quite execute on it, Senegal.
Off their own defensive corner kick, here comes Senegal. Really just 3 players being sent forward that quickly from Senegal, and nothing coming of it.
We'll have a minimum of 2 added minutes at the end of this first half. Bergwijn. Possibilities here. It's scraped away by Edouard Mendy, unaware of the lurking presence of Vincent Janssen. To resurrect his career. They're not all that well off in the striking positions. Without Weghorst, who used to watch a lot in the Bundesliga, used to bang in the goals for Wolfsburg, but he's really cooled off. Went to Burnley, didn't work out on loan at Beşiktaş in Turkey. They may have to call upon him at some stage, but
you still think Bergwijn can be the player right now without Depay that leads that line. He had the most goals in this calendar year. He had 5 compared to Depay's 4.
Just talking with my colleague from Dutch TV from NOS, Jeroen Elshoff, one-time friend of mine yesterday. He was saying that is one of the questions. Where are the goals coming from for the Netherlands? Dumfries. It was Bergwijn who had lined himself up inside the box. Frenkie de Jong's header. Won't be able to keep this going, the Netherlands, but not so. That's a very effective challenge there by Vincent Janssen. And now Frenkie de Jong. And Bergwijn. Janssen. Decent idea with Gakpo inside the area, but the Dutch have to be mindful that they carry a bit of clout on the counter-attack, Senegal. We've seen that.
Certainly, and that's why you're seeing the 2 patrol and Ake and Van Dijk just sitting around Boulaïdia. He's going to be the player that they're going to look to release in transition, and they're all over that. And you see intelligently, Netherlands just drops off, absorbs a little bit of space.
That is Mendy. There's De Ligt. Courageously away. No chances taken by Daley Blind.
Otherwise, you just shepherd him into the area, you regroup your numbers.
Well, that is going to be that for the first half, I think. Yep, it is half-time. And no scoring, but it certainly has been a fascinating first half. With that, we send it back to Kate Abdo in the studio. Kate.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup halftime show on FS1 is presented. The 2022 FIFA World Cup halftime show on FS1 is presented by Verizon. Senegal and the Netherlands are scoreless at the break. Coming up on the Verizon halftime show, we're going to break down this cagey first half of action. We've got a report from the US camp ahead of their opener, and we'll also hear from Gareth Southgate on England's big win. Group A action. Kate Apter, Kelly Smith, Pip Dempsey and Alexi Lalas here with you. Good to have you with us as well. The Dutch, they are three-time World Cup runners-up. Many believe that they could well be poised for a deep run in this tournament. They certainly have the talent, but they haven't been able to get on the board just yet. Let's take a look at the action and see how this one started out.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a stalemate so far. The first 45 minutes, not the most exciting, but Ismail Sarr has taken a few shots. This one here, nice quick turn with the left foot, but just can't get his body over it. It goes over.
Finn, there's a helicopter. They're looking for you.
I know. What's really going on here? But I like the play from number 7, Bergwijn. Able to use the outside of the foot with the through ball. Great ball across to De Jong. I like the fact that he tried to upgrade the shot, be creative, but the problem is he didn't get the shot off.
Yeah, again, Ismail Sarr, look at this touch, brilliant, gets the ball under control, has one thing in his mind, and that's to get it onto his right foot. Little jinx, great shot, but Van Dijk certainly in the way. Warrior heads the ball away.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this is the first cagey affair so far of the World Cup, but not without interesting moments and opportunities from both sides. Probably the Dutch, ultimately, with the better opportunities. Another long-distance shot there, but no goals yet. We need goals.
You know, another game we want goals in. The U.S. national team, they are back at the World Cup later on today. They take a centre stage. Coming up, we're going to bring you a report from the American camp ahead of their clash with Wales. We'll be right back.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup on Fox is sponsored by Verizon, the network America relies on.
Now what? You say it when things go wrong. At Prudential, we think you should say it when things go right, too. Like when you score your dream job, sell your business, or discover she's smart, really smart. Now what? Here's what. You connect with Prudential's rock-solid team serving over 50 million people with investment, insurance, and retirement know-how. Who's your rock? Visit Prudential.com or speak to an advisor today.
The holidays were awkward for Romeo and Juliet. But after saving big with Amazon Black Friday, tragedy was avoided. Shop legendary deals.
Hey, you!
New Balance, we got now.
Good morning, America! All across the country, we're getting up early this year. Whether you're repping La Cultura
pointed out he does see them both able to take part in this match, but for how long or how little, that really is the question. But that's also the beauty of 5 substitutions. Kate?
Thank you very much, Jenny. Let's talk about this because we're about to see the U.S. back at a World Cup for the first time in 8 years. This is an exciting day, Alexi.
8 long years,
yes,
Kate.
Sir.
And this is wonderful. You saw Weston McKennie there. He's got a red, white, and blue streak in his hair. Come celebrate this team. Come celebrate this country. Very few things unite us. Tonight, we get united behind this young, awesome, talented team.
We've had enough time for talk. We're going to see who's going to have that Marshawn Lynch mentality and be about that action.
Alexi's always here to pour cold water on our joy. Would you like to pour some cold water on his? Or?
Well, England have done it today, scored 6, so I'm expecting the US to look at what England have done and go out and put on a big performance. But no, I really can't wait to see them play. I'm really looking forward to the midfield 3 of Adams, McKennie and Messiah. I think they're going to boss it today. Go get it, USA. I'm here for you, rooting for you. Behind England.
Nicely added. Well, England are the US's second opponent. Remember, today the 3 Lions made just an incredible start to their campaign. Bukayo Saka able to find the back of the net twice in a 6-2 demolition. Our Jeff Shreves caught up with the England boss, Gareth Southgate, after the game.
Coaches are always seeking perfection, but Gareth Southgate, could that have gone much better for you?
Well, it's 6-0, yes. Because I really liked so much of what we did, and we looked a real threat. But the end of the game, because of the amount of time added on, because of the break-up in the flow of it, to concede as we did is really annoying. And we're going to have to completely shift the mindset. You know, that game petered out. We're going to have the game of all games against the States, and they're going to be out the traps, pressing us hard. So we're going to have to reset after this. But you know, of course, I'm delighted to win the game in the manner that we did as well.
Well, here is your first half moment, sponsored by Verizon. Dutch fans, of course, amongst the most colourful in international football. They made plenty of noise during a scoreless first half against Senegal. The second 45 minutes of action is coming right up for you. Don't move.
Dutch at bay, a threat on the counter-attack. It has been pretty even, you would say, for large swathes of the game. Ali, what have you made of it so far? What are you looking forward to seeing in the second half?
Yeah, I think that's spot on in terms of the balance of the match, but I do think Netherlands have created some more of the dangerous situations, and I think they've got to turn to Cody Gakpo and get him on the ball more. He's looked the most dangerous for the Dutch, and on the flip side, Ismaili Sarr has been really bright. So if they continue with their wide play, their danger, and their counter ability, it could continue to spell trouble.
So Senegal, the African champions, to get the second half underway. Boulaye Dia was hovering over the ball. He's just made his way out to the left. He's going to let Cheikhou Kouyaté do the honours. And any second now, we should be in business. Was that hair-raising moment for the Netherlands in the first half when Frenkie de Jong tried to pass the ball out of defence. He was inside his own penalty area. Virgil van Dijk wasn't paying attention, but no damage done. And for those who thought this was going to be a tough nut for the Netherlands to crack, well, that's exactly the way it's been. Denzel Dumfries. Given that name, Denzel, because his parents, surprise, surprise, were fans of a famous Hollywood actor-director, Denzel Washington.
I didn't want to guess that,
yeah.
but...
You might have surmised it.
Yes.
Yeah. He has made great strides in the last couple of years. Full of energy on that right-hand side. Saw one there for Vincent Janssen. You can see why Kouyaté has been added to the equation. Not because of that, Ali, but he's an imposing presence.
No, but that is certainly one of the reasons. The physicality and his ability in the air, because one of the other potential starting center mids was going to be Papamata Sarr, and he's much smaller presence, and so you lack that physical ability if he's inserted in the starting 11. And he's been bright as well, and when he's connecting in that final third.
Talking to a couple of Senegalese journalists yesterday, they feel that there is a deficiency, if you like, on the technical front in midfield. They all have to work really hard. They do cover up for each other in that area. Have a bit of flair in attack, especially on the flanks with Sarr on one side and Diatta on the other.
Spot on, and that's how they go about it, right? Is you get some of the 1v1 ability in those wide channels, but it's about the link-up play and the connection from that industrious midfield. When they come over to be the +1, they add that fullback in.
Netherlands trying to get Berghuis on the ball again. Dumfries it was who stabbed that one in. Diallo, a makeshift left back, if you like. He's not a complete stranger to that position. Think of him more as a central defender, but well, now Frenkie de Jong is going to have to get it back. Ball given away there. And Dia, Ake did his job. And he tends to do that.
He did. I mean, he held up any surging movement from Dia, and then you got the recovery of Daley Blind and De Jong on it, trying to make amends.
Frenkie de Jong in the challenge up against Kouyaté. This was Dia and this was Ake.
And that's it, right? You see just good positioning by Ake, just moving his feet, waiting for the double down pressure from behind, force the air, and then win the ball. That's good defending in tandem.
Free kick in the end given to the Oranje. And here is Virgil van Dijk. The pass was by Denzel Dumfries. Couldn't quite make the connection there. Through to Edouard Mendy. The move to Chelsea 2020 from Rennes.
Then here the press, everyone will start to pick up man-to-man. That's one way to beat it.
Certainly is. Header there by Kouyaté. Van Dijk just organising everyone around him. Talking earlier about Noppert in goal. Here's Noppert, first international appearance. Nobody really knows why Mark Flecken of Freiburg in the Bundesliga didn't get picked. Louis van Gaal had spoken about him as his type of goalkeeper. Seems set to be worst second choice, but probably first choice, but not in the squad at all. might well still be a work in progress, the goalkeeping situation for the Netherlands. We shall see as the tournament goes forward.
And Derek, I think that's where Senegal gets in trouble, is they're trying to do the 3v3 for too long in one area. They're at their best when if they can pull it off, great, and they get in behind. Otherwise, just change the point, go out the other side. We've seen Netherlands just be able to pick it off and look to counter a couple of times now.
Gakpo. Well, he has dynamism in his makeup, and this is much more promising from a Dutch point of view. So it bounces around there, pinballing around. And behind it goes for the corner. The surge there by Denzel Dumfries.
But how about the surge by Cody Gakpo? This is the challenge that ensues on Dumfries that earns the Dutch the corner. Diallo really strong in the challenge, and the deflection might have come off of Dumfries, but they get the call regardless.
Plucks it out of the sky. That's how to do it.
Hanging up in the air too long, gives Mendy time to get off his line and get through traffic, grab that one with his length.
He's generally a very assertive goalkeeper. Be coming off his line in that fashion to grab it.
And also in the flow of play. Right now, just sitting at the top of the circle in his 18-yard box, sweeper keeper. See that with Chelsea.
Sabali's pass cut out there by Van Dijk. There's Berghuis and De Ligt. Never really wants to play on the left-hand side of the defence, De Ligt. He has done that in his career, but here on the right. I mentioned earlier now with Bayern in the Bundesliga, who are back on top after a spell of being amongst the chasing pack.
And a real tough challenge from Koulibaly on the backside of Bergwijn. It was good link-up play, too, from the Dutch. This little 1-2 combo, up, back through is the plan. But smart play by Koulibaly, and just to put that off and allow his team to get back.
There's De Ligt. Van Dijk. Ake. Vicious sort of ball in the general direction of Dumfries. There's De Ligt. Let's give it to Denzel Dumfries. To shield it, he had Diallo for company. A shrill whistle of Brazilian referee Wilton Sampaio. They get on with it here, the Netherlands. Gakpo. He tried to chisel another corner out of that. He succeeds.
And again, it's Gakpo just causing problems. Glides by defenders with ease. And Diallo has to make the recovery challenge. And in one of these, you've got to find Van Dijk. I mean, I know he rose up and wasn't able to convert on the one in the first half, but he's got the size advantage over his marker.
Cody Gakpo. And there is Virgil van Dijk. Well, it worked that time in terms of the connection that was made.
And Van Gaal looks concerned because you don't see Van Dijk miss two good looks like this. The control over his body is just off. His timing of the redirection, trying to just swivel enough to get that on frame and down below the bar to challenge Mendy. Not on, not there yet.
I used to watch Virgil van Dijk a lot when I worked in Scotland when he was playing for Celtic, and believe it or not, there were a couple of occasions when I was on a plane to Glasgow with scouts from English clubs.
Southampton, one of them?
Actually, not Southampton.
Okay.
He did go to Southampton.
Yeah, exactly.
Who told me quite candidly they didn't think he had what it took to make it in the Premier League.
I hope they were fired. You should have recorded that conversation and sent it to their employers.
I'm not going to name any names for obvious reasons, but
see, I love that.
Flabbergasted.
That is an incredible story of you just don't know, and the people that think they know don't always know. Michael Jordan in basketball, right?
Absolutely. For those of us who watched him with Celtic, I think felt he was good enough. So, comes out on the side of Senegal here. And it's Sabali. And his shot taking a deflection. He wanted to win the corner. That's what the hope was. It's gone out right beside the corner flag. Off Ake.
And Sabali has tried his luck twice now. certainly wanted to have a go from distance.
So throw in here rather than the corner. Sabali tasked with taking it. Originally came through the youth ranks at PSG. Hails from the western suburbs of Paris. So many in the squad. Senegal French-born. Kouyaté up against Ake.
And Koulibaly, another one of those players that grew up in France, but he said when he came home, all they spoke was Senegalese. All they ate was Senegalese food. And so many of these players that opt to have different nations they can play for, wait to see who picks them, who takes them. And for him, it was always going to be Senegal.
It's the one that got away as far as Mendy is concerned, to attacking sense anyway. 10 minutes into the second half. Fruitless toil so far for the Netherlands. Nobody said this was going to be easy for them. Dumfries on that right-hand side. Gakpo. Cisse for company. Jonsson waiting inside the box. Couldn't quite latch onto it. Jesus only looked to launch the counter-attack, Senegal, but the free kick has been given, and the card is coming out here, and it's yellow for Matthijs de Ligt. He's been discomfited on quite a few occasions this evening.
Yeah, you're spot on, and he's been aggressive in the challenge. Had some moments in possession he'd like to forget. But here's the heavy step right up the backside again of Ismail Sarr. And that is a battle that has been fun to watch unfold over the night. And here's a good look of Jensen getting that near post run. Jonsson, excuse me. And Koulibaly is there. Again, just shoving any threat to that near post out of sight so Mendy doesn't have to make a play on it. Good positioning from him.
Don't forget, it's the USA against Wales coming up. Opening match for both countries. And live on Fox, coverage starting at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Go back to the hotel. I'll let you...
There's still an open invite.
Well, that's very kind. If Scotland were here, sadly, we haven't been for a while.
I didn't want to bring that up.
No.
I did, actually.
Well, it's been 1998 since the last time, unfortunately. Up towards Gakpo. It's poked away there by Koulibaly. That's what he does so effectively, and they're on the move again here, Senegal. See if they can find a gap in the Dutch defence. It's Ake with the header clear. Only as far as Sabali trying to work maybe the 1-2. Instead it goes back the way. There's no Paris Mendy. Neat and tidy though this from Senegal. Diallo, and a good-looking ball, and the attempt there by Diatta. Good little passage.
It certainly was, and you saw a couple good looks or opportunities at the back post. The first one was coming from this near side. They didn't opt to serve it, but that ball skips in behind the back line, and you wing back in. Daley Blind just covering in and does enough to throw off line of sight from that finish. That's one of the areas, again, that Senegal can look to try to hit.
Real battle of wits. To Mama.
Or ball security.
Yeah, as well. Paris Mendy. Pretty good on the ball just then, but nothing comes of it. De Ligt sweeping up for the Netherlands, and here's Frenkie de Jong. Moves back into that deeper position to collect the ball. Vincent Jonsson. Denzel Dumfries. Wally Oranje. Kouyaté away, only as far as de Jong. Berghuis. And a deflection there. It's going to go spinning behind for the Dutch corner.
And just a better looking threat from the Dutch, and it started with de Jong picking up the ball up in midfield and just accelerating the tempo. That's what you're lacking a little bit from this Netherlands side, is just going up tempo against Senegal when they are in a more advanced position.
Scored 42 international goals, joint second on the all-time list for the Netherlands, together with Lasjan Huntelaar. It's been discussed inside the box here. Let's have a look. What's the answer? Diallo, by the look of things. A slight pause. Just ascertain that he's going to be able to carry on.
Oh, knee to knee there with Dumfries. Oof.
He's on his feet. Seems to be raring to go again, but Memphis Depay, next stoppage in play, will be coming on for the Netherlands. See if he can make the difference. He's capable of being the difference maker. Here comes the corner. And Mendy to fist it away. And now it will be substitution time. This was Mendy in command of the situation. There's going to be a change for Senegal as well. This juncture, and it's interesting, Ismail Jakobs, a young player who grew up in Germany, he's going to make his first World Cup appearance. We'll get to that in a second, but first the change, and it's no great shock to see Jonse go off in order that this man, Memphis Depay, can come on.
We haven't seen him since September in club and country. Last time out, he pulled his hamstring or tweaked it for the Dutch side, and we talk about Memphis Depay's ability to score, but he also is incredibly important in the way that he can highlight the others around him. Really good link-up play usually with Steven Bergwijn, and they're going to hope to have some of that creativity as they look to get the 3 points.
To complete the story on Jakobs, it didn't look as though he was going to be able to take part because of a registration snafu. Previously with Germany, as I mentioned, grew up in Germany, grew up actually in the Köln area, used to be on the books of FC Köln. Great club on the banks of the Rhine. And that has apparently been resolved. Diallo has gone off after that injury. Jakobs is very much a forward-going, forward-thinking left back.
Absolutely. Enjoy watching him, no doubt. But we've seen both fullbacks go forward for Senegal. Perhaps a little more quality in the final third, Jakobs than Diallo.
Here's Bergwijn. Depay already waiting inside the box. Been injured for a while now with Barcelona. Of course, is no longer first choice at Barcelona. Got that dream move at the beginning of last season after Lionel Messi had left the club. Was injured for a fair chunk of that campaign too, so the cards really haven't fallen in favour of Memphis Depay since the move to Catalonia. Frenkie de Jong, one of his Barcelona teammates. Now they have to pay attention at the back. The Netherlands. Papa Diatta.
And again, Diatta's just playing that outlet and able to just spring forward the attack for Senegal, get them in a more advanced position, and look to try to open up Netherlands in these wide channels.
Getting on the ball just then, Jakobs. Sabali with the pass. It was a bit too hot for Diatta to handle. Well, remember, it's 4 matches a day beginning tomorrow, kicking off with Argentina against Saudi Arabia, followed by Denmark, Tunisia, Mexico, Poland, France, Australia. Take your pick or watch them all. Coverage starting at 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific on FS1 and Fox.
Yeah, what do you mean take your pick? Absolutely watch them all. Who needs work and school?
Family life. Yeah.
No, that is family life all together.
Yep. I know what it's like in the Wagner household.
Trust me, you have no idea.
Over there by Koulibaly. It was Ake who got his head to it, and now Frenkie de Jong showed too much of it to Nampalys Mendy. That was a fine piece of play from him in midfield. Diatta just trying to disguise it almost, and the low shot by Dia, and he forces Noppert into urgent action, making sure he was concentrating to the maximum.
Oh, just such a good unexpected turn. Here's the turnover. Frenkie de Jong picked his pocket, and now there's a lot of space. You can gain that green. Good run behind the back shoulder of Ake, but Van Dijk does well. You think to just cut off any angle that Boulaïdia has on frame, but just a quick release, test that near post.
So the corner here to be taken by Crépin Diatta. No scoring between Senegal and the Netherlands. Is that situation going to change? Diatta receiving it from Sabali. Wasn't the best of passes. Hanging ball. Didn't look as though that had stayed in play. And the goal kick it'll be. So 20 minutes now into the second half, and there's the clear evidence of the ball being beyond the byline, Ali.
Yeah, we didn't need goal line technology for that one.
No. I could afford to trust these new contact lenses. There is Frenkie de Jong. There's going to be another substitution coming up shortly for Senegal, but on with the game, and it's Daley Blind, and he had plenty of space. He carved out that pocket of space. Gatpo with the header on, and it falls for Dumfries. And what's the referee going to do? He's going to give the decision the way of Senegal. Free kick.
But already some intervention you're seeing from Memphis Depay. He drops in a lower position. That's the link-up play that gets Netherlands in behind. And then you see the strong challenge from Dumfries. Referee calls it a foul. Miscue, really, by Ismail Jacobs. It looks like, but the ref gets it right. Just a little nod on the backside. But a better-looking spell from the Netherlands. And early on, whether Depay is dropping lower just to link up play, or him and Bergwijn spreading out those center backs, it's creating some channels in the interior instead of in the half space for Cody Gakpo just to find and thread through. Something to keep an eye on as we progress.
Bamba Dieng is going to be the player coming on for Senegal. Next opportunity. Could it be we're watching the best two sides in this group? Ecuador might make an argument about it based on their win over Qatar. Time will tell. So Ecuador play the Netherlands in the next set of matches. Senegal against Qatar. And Mendy watches all the way as that trickles through. Blank score sheet midway through the second half. And the change here, and yeah, we suspected that it would be Boulaïdia, one striker going off in order that another one can come on. Seconds after this from Dia.
That's his last intervention, it looks like. Really strong test on Melpert. Again, just an unpredicted quick swivel over the hips to try to just test that near post. And it wasn't his night in the end.
So the Marseille striker will come on in his place. Bamba Dieng has been out of favour at the club. Looked as though he was going to join Nice in France, but failed a medical. Important member of his squad. They are a little bit thin in terms of quality in the centre-forward position. That's the general feeling amongst those who follow Senegal on a regular basis. It's Kouyaté who's down here. And there's going to be a little break in the action, Ali.
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what happened to Kouyaté. Ball's in the air. Frenkie de Jong doesn't have eyes on the ball. Instead, he's got eyes on Kouyaté.
Well, that gives us a chance to take stock of what we've been seeing. Any discernible change to the pattern in this half?
When you look at what Senegal's been able to threaten with, it's been limited. I think in the first half, they were more dangerous, saw more of the ball, and they look more threatening in transition. I think Netherlands have been able to control this game more so, this half, excuse me, more so in possession, and that's what you typically would have thought coming into this match initially. But I do think both sides look like they possibly can gift a goal to the other through just careless play out of the bag.
Well, the stretcher is being brought on. That's what happened to Kouyaté. Yep.
You take that one.
Yeah. Sometimes pictures tell 1,000 words. Right on his back, Cheikhou Kouyaté. Chance for some of the other Senegalese players
And back
enjoy
to
a bit of liquid refreshment.
But back to your point, if this game ends 0-0 and you go to that second and third game to see who advances, the reality is, you know, Mendes of Ecuador, Caicedo of Ecuador, both on yellow cards. I mean, the likelihood of one of them picking up a second yellow is very high, in which case they'd sit out that third game, and that could benefit this Senegal team if, in fact, results stay toe for toe as we go through this group stage.
Looks as though it's the end of the line for Kouyaté. They do have a substitute ready in Pape Gueye. Another Marseille player, left-footed. Used to be on the books of Watford, but actually didn't make a single appearance. And Harperture left immediately. There they are, the Senegalese fans. A lot to be encouraged about when you think about the context of this group and how it all might stack up, but that's a sad sight, isn't it, Kouyaté?
No clue how this ends for Kouyaté, except that, as you said, his day is done today, and the reality is, as a player, this is what you dream of. And we've seen a couple players go off injured in the opening match. It just becomes an emotional experience when you would never wish upon your worst enemy.
That little moment there tells you a lot about teamwork, doesn't it? Many a player would be concentrating on himself, but Pape Gueye immediately wanted to have a word with Cheikhou Kouyaté, make sure he's okay. Offer some words of encouragement. He's about to come on for Senegal. So a lengthy stoppage there. We're inside the final 20 minutes. It's been tight, it has been tactical. There have been chances in the match.
And you think more have to be coming for Netherlands with Depay on.
So Dumfries, there's Bergwijn. Dumfries cutting in. Down he goes, but he's going to carry on. See if they can stretch the Netherlands here. Ismaila Sarr, he's been quiet in the second half. And intelligent ball, there's Idrissa Gueye, and Nopper put to work once more for the Netherlands. Well, the offside flag has gone up. Well, that was an opportunity.
It certainly was, and a really good strike here. By going to get, you see three players just converging on him, and it's a quick release. The ball sits up nicely for him, and it just goes through traffic. Nopper sees it late, more than likely, but good reaction save. And the big man comes up with the goods.
Substitution now. We already have had one with Pape Gueye having come on. Nicolas Jackson is on too for Senegal. Here's Matthijs de Ligt. There's 5 substitutions allowed nowadays. Okay, so nobody in particular. It does change the dynamic of a game having 5 substitutions. Some will say not necessarily for the better.
Yeah, it breaks up the rhythm, absolutely. But I think with the congestion of fixtures that you have nowadays, I do appreciate that you can have more rotation in squads.
Diatta, the other player to have gone off, in his case not because of any injury that had occurred. The Netherlands earlier bringing on Memphis Depay, and there he is. Ball moving towards him, but didn't make the leap on that occasion. Sabali just dragged it too far forward for his own good, with Frenkie de Jong dropping all the way back as the covering player. Well, this was the worry amongst some of my Dutch journalist friends. They did feel that there was a lack of a cutting edge. The defence would be solid for the Netherlands, this back three. But again, where are the goals coming from in this competition? Still plenty of time, still early days, but they have some defending to do here. De Ligt and company. Assar, and the shot does come in here. Well, it was there for Dieng.
And again, just coming down that left-hand side with Ismail Assar. That one just a bit too far behind Dieng Bamba. Makes it difficult to get around it and keep it down.
It was a bit careless by Koulibaly and Bergwijn. And desperate defending, but very good defending. You've got to say, when all was said and done by Jacobs.
And I would argue that this Netherlands side has plenty of ways to find the back of the net. And we've seen when they've been free-flowing and there has been that counter movement out of midfield, they've looked incredibly dangerous. They've also looked dangerous in situations like that, where they're on the break, where they're attacking, and they're being incisive vertically, quickly. You could argue they just haven't had that finishing touch today.
Just getting a bit of a talking to here. Bergwijn, Gakpo to take the latest corner.
And Ake is going to be the free runner again.
Over it comes from Cody Gakpo. Trying to keep it going. Ake was there, attempting to get his head to the ball. De Ligt by his side. They slice open this resolute Senegalese defence. Daley Blind, good-looking ball towards Dumfries, but he was overzealous. Yep. Felt by Jacobs.
And it looked awkward from Jacobs. Just pushed in the back again. Dumfries a few times now, late to the ball, late to the challenge. Well, here's the previous one from Senegal. The ball back to Gana Gueye. Ended up being offside, but a really clean strike from him. And that's a good moment for Noppert. Only tested at that near post once, really, and that's a second save for him. He's going to feel good about that. That's going to build his confidence in his international debut on the world stage.
So 0-0 the score. And the Netherlands about to make a couple of personnel changes. Davy Klaassen will be one of the men to come on. Turn Koopmeiners will be the other. Time really is of the essence here. A draw is never the end of the World Cup. For any side, can often be actually beneficial to ease your way into a tournament. Many a coach has spoken about that.
Time and tempo. And you're also buying your team time with Depay recovering and getting more minutes under his belt. But I do think Netherlands can go up tempo and really try to force something, mistakes out of this back line of Senegal in this midfield that has been so resolute in tracking those vertical runs, closing off some of those internal channels.
Off has gone Bergwijn, off has gone Berghuis with Klaassen and Koopmeiners on for the Netherlands.
More creativity a little bit and less loyal players per Van Hal.
Maybe Klaassen has been struggling a bit for form at Ajax. The experienced central midfield player. Koopmeiners was an effective passer of the ball. Comes off Frenkie de Jong. Louis van Gaal did say at the press conference, you and I were there, that he feels under certain circumstances that Netherlands could win the World Cup. He wasn't making the case for them to be amongst the top 3 or 4 countries here, but he said, I feel that we are in the conversation if the chips fall the right way.
Yeah, he said more talent than the 2014 squad, and this is a group that buys into the principles of play that he wants to see. And that was key to that squad to go get into that 3rd place game. And maybe they're just going to be a slow burn. There's been worse things. Remember France 4 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. A reminder about the return of World Cup tonight. All the day's highlights, special guests and World Cup fun with Kate Abdo, Mo Edu, and America's World Cup fan Chad Ochocinco, who gets to go to the games, including the USA against Wales, coming up after this to give us the fan experience tonight at midnight on Fox.
I'm still wondering how he got the gig just to get to go to games.
Yeah. Is that the gig you want next time?
No doubt.
I hope you're not sick of your commentary partner already.
That was the sole reason.
10 minutes to go. Senegal and the Netherlands locked together at 0-0. The last 8 World Cup openers. The Netherlands have recorded 6 wins and 2 draws. No defeats. They've won their last 3 at this stage of the competition. Senegal, remember, shocked France right at the outset, 2002. Put one over Poland at the last World Cup. Wasn't enough in the end to get them out of the group. Draw something they might have settled for before a ball was kicked in anger as Idrissa Gueye feeds it out left. They do look for Ismaila Sarr to turn on the style. Idrissa Gana Gueye. Here's Sabali for Senegal. They've got the resources marshalled here, the Netherlands. Tightly packed penalty area. The substitutes getting on the ball there. Pape Gueye. Jacobs with that deep ball in there. It wasn't a bad idea. They're asking the question. Inside the penalty area. The referee saw no transgression.
It's a good ball into the box. Ake tied to his player. Not a lot in that. That's the right thing to do if you're Ake. Just throw him off. But one thing I noticed, Eric, in that last play when Van Dijk gave the ball away and here comes Senegal in the counterattack, instead of just watching the ball, Van Dijk is running back, recovering, but he's looking behind his shoulder and he's organizing everyone behind him to pick up the runners at the far post. He's getting everyone into position to deal with any ball that might be floated into a dangerous area, and that's one of the things you don't see when you're not here in person. And we heard Van Gaal talk about he's coached incredible leaders.
There's Ake, that quick first-time ball. Saw what they were trying there, asking for a possible free kick, but not given. Down is Abu Cisse.
Back to my point, Van Gaal has coached incredible captains, incredible leaders. But he said Van Dijk is special.
Yeah. Yeah, very special captain. Greatly appreciated by Louis van Gaal. That was Cobb Miners who managed to get deep into Senegalese territory. Looked to work it swiftly from the back. Dumfries leading in terms of forced turnovers, one of the statistical categories you'll be hearing about throughout the course of this World Cup. Well, 0-0. If it were to finish 0-0, it wouldn't be a terrible outcome for either side, would it?
No, I don't think so, especially when you consider that both have the ability to go and pick up points in their next 2 matches. We talked about both of these squads being the top 2 teams in the group, even without Mane.
Oh, now they've stepped up here, Senegal. Will there be a price to pay? Gakpo. He's looking over his shoulder. Klaassen had joined Memphis Depay inside the box, and it falls kindly here for Memphis Depay, and we know that he has skill in his repertoire. Well, they got away with that a little bit, Senegal. One of the few times when they have gone for that higher line. Frenkie de Jong, and there is the moment for the Netherlands. Cody Gakpo. The Dutch breakthrough at last in the closing phase of this match. A mixture of joy and relief for the men in orange. Cody Gakpo gets on the end of it. And will that be enough to see the Netherlands through to victory in their first match here at the World Cup?
And it had to be Cody Gakpo coming in. This was the kid that we all knew to keep our eyes on. Incredible season at PSV Eindhoven. And he's had great movement out of midfield. Some surging runs. The timing of his run is incredibly important. There he is. Just glides in front of the last line and then cuts in and darts to get on the end of this one. For De Jong, it looked like the timing might have been off, but he cuts it close enough and arrives just before Mendy, who comes out for that teasing ball. To see that one find it.
A goal from the rising star of Dutch football, Cody Gakpo, after Frenkie de Jong had played it in. A delightful ball it was. Just seconds after we said it, Senegal as a unit had stepped forward, got themselves into a bit of a pickle. Thought that they maybe succeed in clearing the danger. Now they've got to get themselves onto the front foot. A time of real consideration. Here at Al Tumama, just to the south of the Doha city centre.
And right after, you were talking about how a tie could suit both of these teams, and it wouldn't be the worst thing.
Change of emphasis and thought process, and that wasn't bad at all by Pat Gay. And Noppert, not for the first time, has to make an important stop.
And it's an incredible one, because this is a tall goalkeeper to get down that low, that quick, back against your momentum. You can see he shifts just enough to his right and then has to get to the ground low in that near post. Big save.
Action stations here for Senegal. The equation has been altered, and quite profoundly. Paris Mendy sending it in. Cisse out to that left-hand side. And it comes off Ake. Will be a corner. Corner to Senegal. And Pat Gay tasked with taking it. A bit of a heartbreaker for Senegal. This one to hold up. A variation on the usual theme. It was hit a bit vigorously, wasn't it? Jacobs had to double D-clutch. And that's going to be Noppert's ball, and he's happy to fall down while grabbing it. Waste a few more seconds.
And here's a look at the quick release. And then just the big save from the big man. Arm stretched out, one hand to it, just deflects that wide of the near post. I mean, you tell your players when you see a goalkeeper of that frame and that size, you want to shoot low. Well, he had it covered.
There's Memphis Depay to play his way through the Senegalese defence. Bailey Blin pass into the centre for the Oranje. Come away with it once more. Blin. Memphis Depay. To Frenkie de Jong, the architect of the Gakpo goal. Get a little circle. In a stadium that's based on a circular roof pattern. Here's Cisse and Senegal. Put so much into this game. Managed to keep the Dutch at bay until that goal by Gakpo. And we should remind you, the USA against Wales coming up, opening World Cup match for the US and Wales. You'll see it on Fox, coverage beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Louis van Gaal moving on from the bench. There's Edgar Davids there, one of his assistants. A terrific all-around midfield player he was.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. He used to play for Van Gaal, that great Ajax team of the 1990s initially. Here's Blind. The Dutch trying to see this out now. Senegal will doubtless have their own views on that subject. Spinning off the boot of Pat Gay, who fired in that ferocious shot earlier, brought the best out of Andries Noppert, and I don't think you can really ask too many questions about Noppert and that decision, because he's been superb in goal when called upon.
Spot on. And he hasn't been called upon much as we've talked about the threat of Senegal coming forward in transition, the way that they've been able to construct some things in those wide areas, specifically from Ismail Sarr. really only a few big saves and Nopers had to make, but that's the difference. And you were looking up the last time you had a goalie make their debut in the opening game in a World Cup.
Yeah, I seriously questioned whether or not it had happened before, but it did happen with Russia at the last World Cup, but certainly for the Netherlands, new territory. We're going to have a minimum of 8 added minutes.
Feels excessive.
When you think about the stoppage for Kouyaté, think about all the substitutions, think about the goal. I was talking to Mark Clattenburg
thinking about
that.
it.
Yeah. You don't think 8 is justified, no?
No.
Fair play. But Mark Clattenburg.
But Senegal will be happy.
Yeah, Mark and I were talking about that, just leaving the referee's briefing, and it's something we probably will see a lot of. We were almost forewarned that we're going to see that, especially with VAR interventions, but that was a big part of the story of this one. Yeah.
That's why you were the A student.
No,
went to the briefing.
Always go to the referee's briefing. It's the one briefing you do want to attend if you can. Always learn something. And Senegal in pursuit of an equaliser. Dieng. So made by Dumfries, and that was always rising off the boot of Jacobs.
We said he was a forward-thinking player, and why not have a go? Just slices across that one, gets it wrong.
Well, I know his former teammates at Köln are all behind him. Köln, who actually were in the USA at the weekend, playing Stuttgart in Austin, Texas, in a friendly. I think people who know me know that I do try to make Köln references whenever possible, so there's the obligatory Köln reference, but as I say, they have been in Texas, and fantastic club, FC. Ismail Jacobs used to play for them. Gakpo contributing in more ways than one, Ali.
Spot on. And just his grace and ability to eliminate players, well, lines as well with that. Just glides right by defenders, because I don't think his line breaks have necessarily been with passes.
We saw those games flash up on our screen seconds ago. Netherlands against Ecuador, Qatar against Senegal. You and I will be commentating on the Netherlands against Ecuador. Have you seen anything now, having watched both sides, anything from Ecuador that should trouble the Dutch?
Absolutely. I mean, they get big shape. They play some of their really dynamic wingers, and Gonzalo Plata. They've got, you know, the double pivots and Mendes and Caicedo that can really control things in the center. And if you give them a sniff, if you're a little bit lazy on the ball, like we've seen out of De Jong a few times, Van Dijk once, they can punish you. Valencia, you saw it. There's a reason he's their leading goal scorer and potent.
Sabali, and useful looking ball, but not the header, not really going to plan. Dieng waiting inside the penalty area for Senegal.
Good shape on that service coming in, and Ifan Bamba Dieng just sitting between two backs in Dumfries and the other center back. Delit, the good space to land that ball in. He just gets the connection wrong.
Martin de Roon is going to be coming on for the Netherlands, defensive midfield player. There's the goal that separates these two. Frenkie de Jong, an exquisite ball, and headed home by Cody Gakpo.
It really is, and you say it takes something special. It takes that creativity. Well, it came from both those players. The recognition that space was on him behind the back line by Gakpo, and then the delivery. Just feathering that one in over the top, teasing the goalkeeper off his line.
He has to pass it now, Gakpo, in order that de Roon can come on. He's not a glamorous sort of player, de Roon. There is a yellow card. Flashed in the direction of Nampalys Mendy. Looking a bit quizzical there at the Brazilian referee. Senegal are going to have to go and play Qatar now. They'll fancy their chances, I think, based on what we saw last night. I suppose those who'll say Qatar can't possibly be as bad as they were. That's the challenge from Mendy, why he got booked, Ali.
Again, just high boot, actually, from both of them, and I can see why he had an argument.
Just trying to manage the game here, you sense, don't you, the Netherlands? Already 4 minutes into added time. If they do win, it's going to go down as a hard-earned, hard-fought victory. Virgil van Dijk from the back with that raking free kick. Koopmeiners. Well, that is the end of that for now, as far as the Netherlands are concerned. They want to get on with it quickly here, Senegal. And even if it does end in defeat, at least they've kept the damage down, because goal difference can be so crucial in the context of these groups.
But I think they're going to feel like they let one get away.
Yeah.
This was a game they could have picked up 1 point and gone into that second.
Well, there is another booking, and Idrissa Gueye this time. He's not really having it, is he?
No, and again, we talk about if you pick up 2 yellow cards in the group stage, you have to sit a game. Well, Idrissa Gueye is one of the important players, the engine room in that midfield for Senegal. They can't afford to lose him, and you see just the elbow as Gueye's riding up, catching Klaassen before the ball arrives.
Well, the Netherlands on the cusp. Cody Gakpo.
Well, those are the young stars, right? Xavi Simons sitting on the bench, and Gakpo, the other one, playing provider for Netherlands and getting them on the front foot in this tournament.
Danny Blind there punching the air in delight. One of the assistants, all the Dutch fans rising to celebrate the goal.
That's a moment.
Yeah, from Gakpo. Virgil van Dijk. Had a few stoppages in stoppage time, so this is likely going to go quite a bit beyond the 8 minutes, you would think. I'm going to put you on the spot, Ali Wagner. Are we looking here in this game at the...
being available for that third game.
Well, the Netherlands against Ecuador will certainly tell us a lot. Netherlands face Qatar in the final match of the group for both countries. The Dutch will hope that it's pretty close to job done by then, and maybe a chance to rest a few, but that's all dependent upon what happens against Ecuador. They did win a lot of friends with their performance last night. Passed there by Cisse wasn't the best. Denzel Dumfries just going right into the back of Jacobs.
And to be fair, I mean, of course, Senegal is a team that can advance out of the group. So we'll couch it a bit with that. But this Ecuador team, I mean, we saw it in Copa America. They're talented. They're young. They're hungry. They're organized. They've got role players. You talk about a platform for which to build your creativity upon. They have that.
Well, orange zest in this game, not so much. They have been dogged in that moment by Gakpo earlier, and here's Memphis Depay, and pushed down, and Klaassen's there, and that will be the clincher. Davy Klaassen to make it 2 for the Netherlands. Well, this second half enriched by a distinct orange flavour, and Senegal unable to prevent it. And that will be that, a win for the Netherlands to begin the World Cup campaign.
We thought maybe the 8 minutes was going to benefit Senegal. Well, now they're ruining them because they're in a goal differential situation potentially, and you don't go to goal in the dying moments of a game when you're up 1-0 unless it's a layup. And Depay thought it was. He took his man 1v1, had to go, got the deflection of Mendy right into the path of the surging run, the selfless run of Davy Klaassen, just going in tandem. And he gets the reward and puts this one away and has Netherlands flying. What a second half for them. And perhaps a cruel score line for Senegal.
Davy Klaassen not starting this match. I think that was to be expected based on what's been going on for him at Ajax. That's the second goal courtesy of him. Time of the goal, 98 minutes, 8 minutes into added time. A bit difficult for the African champions to digest, given the level of their commitment, of their performance. They're going to have to do it now against Qatar in their second match. There it is. Aliou Cisse and company have lost against the Netherlands. The goals by Gakpo, and then right at the end from Klaassen. 2-0 to the Netherlands. Let's send it back to Kate Abdo. Kate.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup today on Fox is presented by Google Pixel. We have got one more match left to go today. The United States is set to kick off its campaign right here on Fox. The Americans take on Wales. The US has never advanced from a World Cup group. When they lost their opener, win would certainly boost their chances of moving on. Our pre-game is coming up for you.
Good morning, America. Rise and shine. All across the country, we're getting up early this year with one thing on our mind.
Football! It's soccer.
Whether you're repping La Cultura in all the colors, or you need the world to know this is our year.